狗仔对总统之子的恋情有多疯狂，每日甘愿守在公寓楼下，捕捉这对顶级怨偶的每一个蛛丝马迹。约翰刚与卡洛琳同居，新闻媒体便将两人同居后的隐秘日常摊开在镜头前。公寓里，卡洛琳熟练地帮约翰拿上遗忘的皮夹，两人默契十足，却又时刻保持着警惕。约翰牵着猎犬先行出门，周围引开蹲守的狗仔，让卡洛琳安静地走出家门。这场恋爱是否永远要为公众让步？此时的约翰正全力创办《乔治》杂志，这是他试图摆脱家族政治光环，寻找自我价值的孤注一掷。而卡罗琳依旧是凯文的职场精英，独立、清醒、骄傲，从未想过成为依附于男人的附属品。可这份独立在踏入肯尼迪家族的那一刻，变成了格格不入的异类，只为引开蹲守的狗仔。到达前，两人在车里互相打气，卡罗琳没注意到约翰悄悄藏起来一枚戒指。约翰不放心地叮嘱道：“别叫她艾瑟，要叫她肯尼迪夫人。”一句简单的称呼规则，暗藏着家族森严的等级与不容置疑的权威。家族晚宴上，艾瑟肯尼迪的目光像利刃般扫过卡罗琳。
Just growing flush, just looking at you with that thing on your shoulders.
艾瑟挑剔她的穿搭，打断她的话语，甚至在政治话题上故意刁难。卡罗琳手足无措，像个闯入陌生领地的局外人。而约翰只是尴尬的微笑转移话题，从未真正站出来为他解围。那一刻，卡罗琳清晰地认识到自己永远无法真正融入这个家庭。深夜，卡罗琳红着眼眶质问
：“Ethel hates me. And that shawl was final sale and cost a week's pay. And only it was corn.”
约翰只能无奈安抚，他深知家族的重量，却又无力平衡爱人与家族之间的天平。矛盾的爆发始于一条船上的求婚。平静的海面上，约翰掏出母亲杰奎琳的遗物戒指，眼神真挚。
Caroline Jean Bissett, will you marry me?
这是他能给出的最郑重承诺。可卡罗琳没有立刻答应，她沉默着，眼里满是纠结与恐惧。
I love you. I do want to be with you. But there's a lot of big stuff we have to talk about before we can get married. Like how our lives really fit together. You know?
Is that a no?
No. I think we need to have more of a conversation.
他不是不爱，而是太清醒。可约翰无法理解这份恐惧，在他看来，求婚是爱意的证明，是两人关系的必然归宿。他无法接受这样的结果。回去后的卡罗琳与约翰讲述了自己没接受他求婚的顾虑。
It's not a question of if I want to spend the rest of my life with you. It's a question of if I'm cut out to be Mrs. JFK Jr.
他与约翰约定，只有他们两个人的时候，他会戴上戒指。可这份平静还没维持多久就被打破了。乔治杂志的热度持续攀升，可关于小约翰肯尼迪订婚的传闻也愈演愈烈。为了聚焦杂志本身，也为了暂时平息家族内部的争议，约翰在一次全国新闻发布会上做出了一个致命的决定。他公开否认自己向卡罗琳求婚。
Yes? No? We're merely good friends? None of your business?Honestly, she's my cousin from Rhode Island.
这句话像一把尖刀刺穿了卡罗琳的真心。她曾相信约翰会保护她的隐私，会尊重她的选择，可他却为了事业与舆论将她的期待踩在脚下。毫不意外，两人在公园里爆发了激烈的争吵。
You looked me in the eye and promised me you would do everything in your power to keep our private life out of the press.And then at the first chance, you turn around and make a public statement about our private life to the press.
卡罗琳声音带着绝望与愤怒，约翰也被愤怒冲昏头脑。他指责卡罗琳固执，不懂妥协，不懂他背负的压力。卡罗琳看着眼前的男人，突然觉得无比陌生。而约翰大声喊道
Came out alone!
而这一场争吵让潜伏已久的狗仔如愿，闪光灯将两人的狰狞与痛苦定格。约翰攥着戒指不肯松手，卡罗琳奋力争抢，两人情绪都彻底崩溃。这场争吵从公园蔓延到街边，两人都各抒己见。冷静下来的两人终于在街头把一切都说开。
And be honest, I don't think marriage is necessary. But I'm down to do it with you.
卡罗琳终于迈出了这一步，两人紧紧拥抱在一起。这一集他们的争吵不是不爱，而是太爱却被现实困住，找不到平衡的出口。而这场公开决裂瞬间霸占全美头条，他们的爱情从人人羡慕的世纪之恋变成了公众的谈资笑料。但公园的争吵后，两人感情更加牢固，这份对抗全世界的坚定是他们给彼此最珍贵的礼物。面对家人的不解和不同意，两人丝毫不在意，甚至决定立刻要举行婚礼。
I think it should be someplace romantic and remote, rustic. It should feel like we're the only two people there. And to pull it all off, we just have to elude every single journalist in the country. Yeah. Should be easy enough.
他们拒绝了家族传统的盛大仪式，拒绝了媒体的全程报道，最终选定了偏僻的佐治亚州昆布兰岛。因为那里没有喧嚣的人群，没有刺眼的闪光灯，只有百年橡树、洁白沙滩与静谧的小教堂，是他们能找到的最接近普通情侣的净土。可这场私密婚礼的筹备依旧充满阻碍，肯尼迪家族依然不满这场婚礼的安排。
Oh, you know, our house in Sagaponack has a hell of a garden. Petit Trianon, but, sizable. Grand Trianon, the Marie Antoinette's garden. Why don't the two of you just get married there?
Seriously? This again?
卡罗琳的姐姐在得知卡罗琳想要约翰的姐姐来当伴娘时，同样充满不解。她直言不讳地说
Lauren, this will mean nothing to her. And it would have meant everything to me.
面对家族的压力、家人的不理解，甚至朋友的不看好，两人从未动摇。约翰和卡罗琳始终都坚定地站在一起，一起为他们的婚礼认真筹备。在那个浪漫的海岛上，一切都是那么刚刚好。婚礼如期而至。婚礼的前一天，卡罗琳妈妈犹豫半天，终究没忍住提醒自己的女儿
You quit Calvin Klein. You gave up your apartment. Your own sisters aren't even your maid of honor. I just see you doing a lot for him.
I didn't do any of that for him.
I see you making your life smaller.
卡罗琳坚定地回答
He could walk away from all of that tomorrow.
Toward what?
两人的争论不欢而散。在晚上的宴席中，小约翰诚挚地感谢了来参加婚礼的亲朋好友，真诚地诉说着自己对卡罗琳的爱意。
Carolyn has changed my life in ways that I never thought possible. And she really has made me the happiest man alive.
艾德作为朋友代表，向约翰和卡罗琳送出了新婚祝福。
John and Carolyn, we wish you a lifetime of completing each other. The two of you add up to the perfect couple. To the lovebirds.
这番话让氛围更加浓烈。这时卡罗琳的妈妈拿出了提前准备好的感谢稿子，可她念了一个开头，就决定收起这份书面化稿子。她热泪盈眶地讲述了自己在得知卡罗琳与约翰谈恋爱后所有心路历程，以及越来越多的担忧。最后她哽咽地向约翰说
I know that you have been burdened with enormous expectations and that there are a lot of people on the bus clamoring for your attention. I just hope that when you are faced with it all, you don't choose to sit where you are expected or wanted, but where you are needed. That is something that I pray she can count on. Sorry.
这是一个母亲对女儿人生幸福的卑微请求。没有哪一个母亲不想自己的孩子能有个幸福的婚姻。约翰与卡罗琳的母亲单独待在一起，约翰郑重地承诺
She's my family now. And so are you. Angry or not, you're here with me tonight. And my parents? Well, I just want you to know that I don't take your presence here or in my life for granted. I'm going to prove that to you and to Carolyn for the rest of our lives.
约翰的承诺真诚而坚定，填满了卡罗琳母亲内心的不安。晚宴结束后，两人来到了沙滩，月光洒在海面上，卡罗琳吻着约翰
I'm gonna be your wife forever.
第二天，两人在沙滩上醒来，他们做了一个大胆的决定，去海边裸泳，享受最后的私密时光。 海水微凉，包裹着两人的身体，他们像孩子一样在海浪中嬉戏，笑声回荡在沙滩上。艳阳高照，所有人都来到了教堂，忍着酷热，等待着一对新人的婚礼。
Fuck this, I'm leaving. I'm still a horse shift.
Language, young man. You're in a church.
It's the Unabomber's shed. No wonder John bailed.
此刻的约翰正在忙着甩掉媒体的直升飞机。终于他开着车一路奔驰到教堂，可卡罗琳还没到场。房间里的卡罗琳面对各种突发情况也无能为力，只能等待。等待途中，卡罗琳也与姐姐和解。
Are you still mad at me?
Yes.
Can I have some of your champagne?
No.
I'm sorry.
I know.
终于在2个小时后，所有问题都完美解决，终于能赶去婚礼现场了。此刻教堂这一边天黑了，众人此刻仍在焦急的等待。约翰落寞地坐在门口抽烟，他以为卡罗琳不会来了。忽然一束光打来，他没有逃。婚礼如约举行，昆布兰岛的小教堂里，这场备受瞩目的私密婚礼正式举行。卡罗琳穿着好友量身打造的简约白裙，没有华丽的装饰，却美得干净又坚定。约翰穿着黑色西装，眼神里满是期待与温柔。现场只有40位知青好友，没有媒体，没有喧嚣，只有最纯粹的祝福。牧师缓缓提问，约翰声音坚定
I, John, take you, Carolyn, to be my lawful wife.
I, John, take you, Carolyn, as my lawful wife.
To have and to hold.
To have and to hold.
From this day forward.
From this day forward.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
For richer or for poorer.
For richer or poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
Till death do us part.
Till death do us part.
Till death do us part.
双方彼此交换了戒指，亲吻了对方。在所有家人朋友的见证下，这场婚礼没有盛大的排场，却比任何一场世纪婚礼都动人。在众人的簇拥下，两人走出教堂，伴随着一道恰到好处的闪电。仪式结束后，在所有人美好的注视下，两人跳起了第一支舞。
Perfect.
I don't want it to end. Everything else.
Not us.
这句话是爱情里最动人的誓言，也藏着命运的伏笔。最后所有人都一起跳舞，而约翰与卡罗琳夫妇被簇拥在人群中央，家人朋友都望着他们，眼里都充满了对他们爱情的感动。这场婚礼不仅是两人爱情的归宿，更是对名望与规则的反抗。他们拒绝成为肯尼迪家族的展品，拒绝活在公众的凝视里，只想做一对普通的夫妻。昆布兰岛的海风见证了他们的坚守，静谧的教堂收藏了他们的真心。在这个被名望包裹的世界里，他们用爱情守住了最后的自我与温暖。